The fall time in the northern Gulf Coast means Wahoo fishing. Whether you're wanting to target Wahoo specifically, or you just want to add a bait or two into your white marlin or sailfish spread to pick up that occasional Wahoo, we're going to go over what you need to know. Angelo DePaola, the Coastal Connection with eXp Realty, here with Carson Hall. We got the whole Wahoo spread here at J&M Tackle, the Gulf Coast foremost saltwater outfitter. Carson, break down what we got and tell us how it works.
What we have here is a selection of high speed and slow speed Wahoo lures. If you're slow trolling some natural baits like ballyhoos or something, working the shell for a weed line, these lip diving plugs make a great addition to run like kind of in your flat line spot. They dig, they add something else to your spread, something down deep, you know, where a dredge isn't going to run as deep as this is, and the vibration they put off, I think, helps bring more attention to your spread. The other thing that works well are these Nomad Mad Max or like a Yoziri Bonita, works real well, and you can run those in the same like a flatline position with or without a trolling lead. Yeah.
And then, like for me, I love to run a Islander ballyhoo combo behind a little planer. It gets it down deep. Like even if you're going to pitch bait, this rest setup really isn't.
It's really not
interfering with anything.
It really doesn't.
And then, all right, so that's kind of like, hey, we're going to be trolling around some oil rigs. We're going to be trolling the shelf with a mixed ballyhoo spread. We want to kind of target that Wahoo as well as catch some dolphin and billfish and stuff. But like, what if we're just like, dude, I want some fresh sashimi tonight. I want some thinly sliced Wahoo. And it is like end of September, October time. What are we looking like there?
Now we're going to bring the speed up, and we're going to put out nothing but lures. The bait can stay at the house. We're going to high speed troll, and for that, some lures you can run without a trolling lead. Some don't run as well with or without. But if you are going to run a trolling lead, make sure you've got it set up where you're running at least 15 feet in front of your lure. I do mine closer to 20, 25 feet.
I agree. Well, also, because they tend to, you know, go over that, pull out one of those trolling leads too. Like, let's just go over that for a second. Because you have them rigged on some cable.
Yeah, they're rigged on cable, and then you want the lead to sit in the middle of it, so you've got some cable on either end, because they will come up and hit your lead, you know, and if you don't have cable hanging out of either side, you're going to lose your whole rig.
Yep.
And then, like I said, when I build these, I normally do a snap swivel on one end and a loop on the other. And then my shot cord, which you run between your trolling lead and your lure, like I said, 15 to 25 feet. You can do a loop on one end and a snap swivel to connect it all in line. They do, Black Bart on this kit, they do double snap swivels on their shock leaders and just loops on their leads.
Cool. And then you were explaining to me, and I didn't ever think about this before, but the cup on one of these lures, here, pull one out.
Yeah, the lure itself kind of has a bullet shape, but at the end of it here, it's slightly cupped. And what really helps with this high speed, most people think you want a straight bullet lure, but when this wants to come up and skip because of the resistance of water, that lip catches, and instead of wanting to come up and bounce, that lip catches and brings it down, so it stays in the water a lot better. Plus, it also adds a little bit of wiggle.
Awesome, awesome. All right, so we got the weight, we got the lure. What kind of trolling speed are we looking at here?
Between 12 and 20 knots usually. It really, in my opinion, depends on your boat. Some boats will run great at 12 to 14, and in my opinion, that's really like your most effective speed. But a lot of these newer step tow boats, good luck getting them to stay at 12 to 14. They're going to constantly run away and go up to 20 to 22. But that's okay. Wahoos can swim at bursts of over 60. So trolling at 20 knots is not a big deal. You just got to, you know, up your line size, up your trolling leads, and just make sure you've got something heavy that's going to stay down and run good.
If you're rolling at 20 knots, you need to be fishing an 80 with 80 to 100 pound line.
Yeah, you need 100 pound line for sure. You can do it with a 50. They make enough drag, but you need 100 pound main line to do that.
All right, and then we got the, man, I've caught so many fish on this bait, the cowbell.
I have too. I love that guy. The rattle that it makes, again, it has that lip to help keep it from skipping. And then
And you don't need the trolling weight.
You really don't. Those things are so heavy you can get by without it, and just makes things clean and easy for clearing lines.
And then this is something you guys here at J&M rig up. It's a Islander with a skirt and some weight added.
Yeah, it's this is what they call their Mylar series. It's an Islander head, but with all flash, no hair. And then we put a octopus skirt with an egg weight inside of it, and use a piece of cable with a little bit of heat shrink to rig it. So it's
Now you're running this typically behind a trolling rod, but you could put this on the rigger.
Yeah.
And roll this just as something in your spread.
Right.
Now,
let it run a little deeper.
what do we have here? I've not fished with these.
This is a nice lure that's similar to an Islander in design, but it's your acrylic head with a pretty eye and re-skirtable, which is nice. A lot of these Wahoo lures you can't re-skirt, but these you can. And this is made by Bahama Lures, and he builds some of the top-notch lures, whether it's for billfish, wahoo, dolphin, everything he builds is world class.
So we know what to fish, so where do we fish, right? Like for me, man, when you start getting in September and that beginning of October, you're really kind of looking like that. You get that 200, 250 foot where you get a lot of natural bottom.
Mm-hmm,
you
right
got a lot. Yep, and then on to about 400 foot, I find that to me, in this part of the world, on the elbow, on the steps, you got an edge over there off of Navarre, and the nipple, you got really nice broken bottom.
Squiggles is another really good area.
There's a big hump over by the squiggles, man. You get over there, it's like ding, 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 wahoo everywhere.
Just keep an eye on your bottom machine while you're out there trolling, kind of zigzag through that water depth along the shelf, and just pay attention to where you're seeing the bait. If you're seeing most of it out around 400 or 500, well, stick around 400 or 500. But if you're seeing most of it up 2 or 3, stay shallow. Just stay around the bait.
And this other thing, so if you're not catching them in there, you maybe should swing out that 600, 700, 800 foot range.
Right.
Because you guys were white marlin fishing, you found bait balls in a certain depth. Well, guess what? There's white marlin there, but there's probably wahoo and everything else there feeding. Mm-hmm. I'll tell you the other really nice thing that I like about wahoo fishing, especially in that 200 to 450 foot range, keep an eye on your bottom machine, not just for bait, but you can split that screen and you will find tons of little rocks and stuff that you can come back and
put it on bottom lock on one side, and you'll definitely pick up some new deep drop and natural bottom numbers.
Yeah, you'll be in the scamp and in the beeliners, plus you'll catch a couple wahoo. Guys, it's a great, easy trip. Like Carson was saying, you don't have to pack the boat full of rods and reels if you're going to go out and do that. Bring you some wahoo baits, bring a few rods to bottom fish just in case you strike out, and you can come back and check some of the spots that you're going to run over. As always, hit these guys up at J&M Tackle. There's nobody on the Gulf Coast that has the selection or the knowledge base that they have. If you need real estate advice, hit me up. I like to think of myself as the same way. And remember, always save a few fish to tomorrow. Keep your trash in the boat, and we'll catch you next time.